It's a great pleasure for me today to present you our latest and greatest innovations in light management systems. So what is light management about? At the end of the day, it's about comfort. It's about a great user experience. And this is what I want to present you now. I'm pretty proud to present you VIVARES. VIVARES is the name of our new LEDVANCE light management system for small and medium-sized applications. VIVARES means bringing light to life. But VIVARES is just a name. What's behind? Let's have a look. Within the VIVARES, we combined the best of two worlds, the best of wireless technology and wired technology. But we did not mix this up in one, because then, again, the user experience might not be the best one. So therefore, we decided, let's go on two different technologies and bring them under one umbrella. The umbrella is called VIVARES. But under this umbrella, we have, again, as said, two technologies. So let's have a closer look at this one. Our wireless technology is based on the industry standard ZigBee. So precisely, we are using ZigBee 3.0. Why did we decide for a wireless system? Because it offers great advantages. Specifically then, when it comes to renovation, when it comes to modernization. You have an existing lighting installation, but you want to upgrade it to the state of the art. What is possible today? You can use LED-based luminaires, and you can connect them with smart controls. And this you can do without adding any kind of wires, because for a wireless system, no control wires are needed. So it's great. It's great in the terms of planning, it's great in the terms of installation, but it's also great afterwards during the phase of usage, of operation, because we all know times are changing so fast, what counts today might be changed tomorrow again. So even in an office building, one tenant says, I want this setup, the next one says, I want it differently. So therefore, flexibility is also one of the key features of our systems. And with a wireless system, this flexibility is given. So, a wireless system for renovation, for modernization. Now, I want to guide you a little bit more into the details of this system. Therefore, we prepared our booth over there. Please join me on the booth. So welcome. I hope you can see what I can see. Here is the system architecture of our system. The heart of the system is our new controller. It's a combination of a light management controller with an IoT gateway. With this controller, you can control up to 200 devices, luminaires, as well as controllers or other input devices. Then you see various luminaires. All those are mainly specified for office lighting, like a panel, like a linear luminaire, like a downlight. So we have a very comprehensive family of luminaires dedicated for office lighting. Then what else do you need for a light management system? For sure is sensors. So the eye of the system, so to say. We have two sensors here. We have an occupancy sensor, but we also have a combined occupancy and light sensor. And then for those that still love to use push buttons, we also have a push button controller, which can connect a standard push button to the wireless control system. We have a 4-channel push button coupler behind this, so you can have 4 different functions combined in one push button. Then we have also a ZigBee to DALI converter. So what does this mean? This tiny and intelligent device helps us to integrate DALI luminaires also in a wireless control, because this converter translates the wireless signal into a DALI signal. So that means whenever there is a need for a special luminaire, which is not part of our wireless luminaire portfolio, you can add, by using this converter, also DALI luminaires to have the full functionality of the system. Then on top we see the LEDVANCE VIVARES Cloud services. This means by combining IoT features, we also can offer additional services, cloud-based services. This I will explain later on in the presentation. And then here what we see is again the VIVARES portal, and the VIVARES portal is the central entry stage for all kinds of configuration, planning, but also control and monitoring. So this overall reflects our system. This again was the theory. Now I give you an even more practical experience because we prepared a virtual simulation for you. So please join me now. Let's have a look. So, welcome on our renovation. You see here we have an old building, but this needs to be totally refurbished. Therefore, let's get started work. Good, so now it's modernized. Now you see the VIVARES portal. You enter the portal and then you can start all kind of project details. So you set up the project here, then you can upload a floor plan for visualization mainly. After the floor plan, you see create rooms. That means with the templates we have pre-filled, you can create your rooms. Then you can add already the luminaires. The catalog is also integrated in the portal. And then for sure you can set all the settings what is needed for all the different products. Do the settings, prepare scenes, prepare groups, create also schedules. Then we offer you, after you do the pre-configuration, several documents, a bill of material. So with this you can directly order what you pre-configured in the system. An installation booklet where you can add the QR codes and also a letter of acceptance for the final approval of your project. So this is the project documentation. Then we are now on site, you ordered the luminaires, and now you see each and every product has a QR code. With the QR code, you can assign those products that you install into the system, into the configuration. So with a smartphone, with a tablet, you can do the QR code scanning. Afterwards, you start installing like you did before. So you see more and more luminaires are now already in our site. Also now the furnitures, everything is coming in, and now the magic moment. We scan the controller, and by scanning we can start uploading the configuration. So everything we prepared up front now is transferred to the controller, and immediately the controller starts setting up the network, is transmitting the data to each and every luminaire, to each and every sensor, and immediately you see the lights are coming up, and now the configuration is done. The job is done so far. You see, perfectly lit, easier than ever. So, now, I hope you enjoyed our journey in the virtual world. Now we are back on Earth, and please join me again. I go back to the main stage. So I think now you learned quite a lot about the portfolio, about the way of commissioning. But there's one additional feature which I definitely want to highlight, because this is one of the highlights we currently see in the lighting industry, and this is human-centric lighting. Biodynamic lighting is influencing each of us. The natural sunlight is doing what we want to do, is giving us the rhythm of day and night. In our next presentation, you will get a much deeper presentation on this, a much deeper insights on this. But now, what I want to highlight is the HCL, which we launched last year in our BioLux HCL system, is now also integrated in our wireless VIVARES control system. That means also here we have a daylight curve with a perfect simulation of color, temperature, and intensity. And by just adding this feature and activating it in the controller, you can use biodynamic lighting also in your office, just by a finger snip. So with this, you can control up to 200 tunable white luminaires and give the best lighting experience to your staff, to your team. So here again, we combined a new technology, HCL, in our new VIVARES light management system. So let me briefly summarize what you heard. So with the VIVARES wireless system, we offer you a great system with various advantages. So we have a comprehensive portfolio for office lighting. It's based on an industry standard Zigbee 3.0, so nothing proprietary, but it's with a long-term experience, this standard already. We have a very easy plug-and-play solution for commissioning and configuration. And last but not least, we have the IoT features. That means also after the commissioning is done, after the project has been installed, with a remote access functionality, you can do change settings, do adjustments, whatever is needed remotely. So here, again, a great user experience. Good. So this was VIVARES Wireless. Let's have a look what's coming next. As I mentioned, we have two technologies combined in one VIVARES system. So the second technology is DALI. I guess every one of you is very familiar with DALI already because it's there in the lighting industry also since quite some time. But you also know DALI is not DALI because there is DALI and there is DALI 2. So allow me a minute to quickly recap what is new about DALI 2. Well, the DALI 2 standard contains the first time also a standardized protocol for controls as well as for sensors. In the revision 1 of DALI, only the control gears and the drivers have been standardized, but now also controllers as well as sensors are standardized, and this helps to massively improve the interoperability between all those devices. The hassles we saw in the past, they are gone now based on DALI 2 standard. And this interoperability is not only between the portfolio of one supplier, but also it helps to improve versus various suppliers. So a great advantage. Next to it, we know DALI 2 has a new logo. Why is a new logo? Because also the process behind the logo is new. So whenever there is a DALI 2 logo on a product, you can be sure that the product is tested based on the DALI 2 standard, and then it's certified. So only those products that carry the DALI 2 logo and that are tested, you can ensure they work best in a DALI 2 system. So here the DALI organization, the DIIA, is pretty strict and only gives the certification after the testing, which they do. We know at DALI 1, more or less everyone could assign the DALI logo by himself, which also ended in chaos and trouble partly. Then additionally, in the DALI 2 standard, there is a chapter about data. We know the data are the gold of the 21st century, and within the DALI standard, there is a definition about specific data which are created in the drivers, data for lifetime, data for energy, and those data, they can be taken out of the driver and then put, for example, in a cloud. And then within certain cloud services, you can use those data. And the definition of these data is also part of the DALI 2 standard. So let's have a look. How does our system look like? So here again, you can see the system architecture. The heart of the new system is a brand new controller, the DALI Pro 2 IoT. Again, this combines a light management controller with an IoT gateway. So also here we have now in future the possibility of creating online connections and doing, for example, upgrades and using all the potential of IoT. Then you see various luminaire families and categories like panels, like linear luminaires, like downlights, everything tailor-made for office lighting and similar applications. Then you see sensors and push buttons, so I think also this is somehow standard, but here we also have a bigger variety of various sensors. So everything tailor-made to what you need specifically in your project, in your application. And then there is also a brand new way of commissioning. We know that commissioning in the past was always a little bit tricky because this was really programming and needed a lot of experts' knowledge and know-how. Also, again, here we try to massively improve the user experience and the comfort for you. And therefore, we now can offer also a browser-based commissioning tool, which I want to show you now a little bit. So this is the entry page of our browser-based commissioning tool. How to come to this? So as said, we have a lighting controller, but this lighting controller also has an own network control inside. So this lighting controller can create its own network. So you're not depending on any infrastructure already there on site. No, this controller, you can establish your own network, and then you can log on with your smart device directly on that network. Then you come on a microsite, and this is the microsite which you see here on the screen, and there you then start entering your credentials. So first of all, you define an administrator, then you can define several users, mobile app users. You do a first kind of settings for the system, and then you can start by creating your projects and doing all the configuration. So this we also prepared in a little video, so please join me now. Again, we see the log-on screen. The admin is now logging in. And then you see we can immediately creating our project. We give it a name, and then we see we are in the manager area, and there you see several templates all defining several room situations. For example, a main office or smaller office, shared service offices, so all these templates are there. Now we picked one, and you can see you can easily rename the project. Now you see on the right-hand side there's a list of devices. Those are the devices that are detected by the controller once everything is installed. And by clicking on the device, you get an optical feedback, like we see it here again. So the lamp, the luminaire starts blinking, and immediately you know exactly which name you see on the list belongs to which product you have already installed on the ceiling. Then you can rename it, that you have a ensured identification. Now again, we see luminaire identified, it blinks, I know which one it is, I give it a dedicated name, done. And now you see we have the list, and you can assign each and every product which you identified to your room template. This you can do for luminaires, you also can do it for the sensors, push button, couplers, everything which is detected on the list. And you also see, once it's there taken from the list, it disappears, because you can assign one device only once to a room. Therefore, the list gets smaller and smaller. So, now we already assigned 2 rooms. Let's do it also for the third one. Again, you see we can rename the room, that we have also here a clear identifier. Then we choose the luminaires, assign it to the room, choose a push button coupler, assign it to the room. Now additional settings could be taken. This we skip now. Now we press the sync button here, and now the full configuration is transmitted already to the controller. Now we know control is good, but testing is even better. So therefore, once the configuration has been transferred to the controller, you can do your regular testing. For example, the push button coupler, are all the channels assigned with the functionality which you predefined, like switching on and off, or dimming, or creating some scenes, groups. All this can be assigned to the push button couplers. So, this is our video, and this already, I hope, gave you a pretty good understanding about the new way of commissioning. So you know the former PC tool, which we offered for commissioning or configuring DALI, it's still there, and it's still the experts tool. But with this new browser-based tool, we offer you a much easier, much more convenient way of doing the configuration and bringing it on site to your project. So a big step forward in our understanding. Good. So let me quickly summarize. DALI system is not a revolution, but for sure it's an evolution. So we have a very nice and comprehensive portfolio of luminaires, control devices, sensors, everything based on the DALI 2 standard. We have a new way of commissioning, drag and drop, everything browser-based, high level of flexibility, and we combine lighting control with IoT, which gives us a lot of potential also for the future, because just keep in mind, what you are installing now should be there for the next 10, 15 years, but these devices so future-proof that all the developments which we see in the near and mid-future can be upgraded to the controller. Good. So now I talked a lot about hardware. Let's go to the next level. Cloud services. Also a very trendy topic at the moment. Using the potential of IoT at its best. So therefore, also for the VIVARES system, we define some cloud services, which I want to present you now. Here on this schematic, you can see what we offer as a first step. And as said, there will be more to come over time, but let's start with a defined set of functionalities. So we have an energy monitoring feature, as well as a failure diagnostic and maintenance assistant feature. So what can you do with this? We're collecting data and we're bringing data to the cloud, and there we can display those data. We can create dashboards where you can see with one view what's happening on site in your installation from everywhere in the world. So the installer or the maintenance company, they don't have to be on site to check if all the luminaires are working properly. No, you just go on your cloud service dashboard, have a look and see, okay, all luminaires are working fine, perfect. Even if one device is not working properly, you get some notifications, an alert. Okay, something is not working properly, I have to check. If it detects a failure and you have to replace a product, you get the perfect identifier, which luminaire is failing, what do I have to replace? I order upfront, then I go on site once, change everything, and perfectly done. Energy monitoring, we all know resources are costly, and the more resources we can save, the better it is. This also counts for energy. So therefore, with the dashboard, you get a perfect overview about your energy consumption, and then you also can identify potentials where I can even save further energy, maybe by adjusting the sensors, maybe by adjusting the room usage. All this is possible. So therefore, energy monitoring is also a highly valuable feature. So those two services we offer at the beginning. How to get them? It's also pretty easy. You go on our website, LEDVANCE.com/cloud services. There you find an order form. Please complete this order form and also include the ID number of your control device, either the wireless control device or the DALI control device. They all have a specific ID. Those you have to enter into the order form. Then you send the order form to us. We do a quick review and check, and then we release specifically the services for the device you mentioned in your order form. And also, we are convinced about our services, but also to convince you, we offer a 6-month trial period. There you can check all the details of the services if they fit to your expectations, and afterwards you can use them based on certain conditions. But we offer a 6-month trial phase. So please challenge us and try to figure out if it really fits to you. Let's talk a little bit more about services. So because we know user experience is pretty important, comfort is what you all expect from those kind of systems, but we want to make you even a little bit more comfortable by supporting you in all phases of your project. So first of all, there's always the phase of pre-planning, of pre-configuration, which devices to use, do I have the proper settings done, everything. This creates a lot of questions normally. We are here to support you here, to answer your questions in the early phase of the project. So whenever there's something you want to know, just contact us. We have the experts here that are happy to support you. Then in the next phase of the project, when it comes on-site to commissioning, we are here also, either for the wireless system or also for DALI programming. We can offer everything to you out of one hand, products and service. Again, just come back to us, challenge us. We are very happy to support. And also then, once a project has finished, normally the story doesn't end. There's always something to adjust in a later stage. Again, as I mentioned earlier, maybe the tenants are changing, new requirements are coming in, you have to add certain components, upgrade something. Also here we are happy to help. So in all phases of the project, you can count on us, we will not let you down. So know-how and expertise is quite important when really using light management systems. We believe that we made a big step forward in the usability and in the way of using those kind of technologies in future. Nevertheless, we also want you to become our experts, and therefore we created a lot of training content. So we established an online training center, and in this online training center you find a lot of helpful information, tutorials, webinars, but there's even more. If you want us to come on site in your company and give you a face-to-face training, we are also happy to do this, because we know the more you know, the better you can exploit the potential of our products. And this is what we are looking for.